All right, let's get right into it. Selling a high-end home, especially somewhere as unique as Alabama's Eastern Shore, is a whole different ballgame. It's not just about square footage or getting the price right. So today, we're going to break down a blueprint that's all about mastering that very specific game. And this quote right here, it's the perfect place to start because it really reframes everything. The actual value of a luxury home, what makes it special, isn't just in the numbers. It's in its character, its history, its soul. Exactly. These homes are like vessels. They hold our memories, our identity, who we are. That feeling, that emotional weight is what we call its emotional currency. And understanding that is the real key to unlocking its true value. And that's exactly why the usual cookie-cutter real estate playbook just falls flat. You can't treat a home like this as if it's interchangeable with the one down the street. It has its own unique story, these little charms, and those things have to be narrated. If they're not, it just becomes another listing that people scroll right past. So let's talk about a big problem, a trap that so many sellers unfortunately fall into. It's this passive, kind of old school idea of just listing the house and waiting. And trust me, it comes with some very real and often invisible costs. The myth that so many of us believe is that if a home is beautiful and priced correctly, buyers will just magically appear. But the reality in the luxury world, it's completely different. Your perfect buyer, they have to be intentionally reached. They aren't just out there browsing. You have to find them and tell them a story that connects. And think about what happens when a home just sits there. That powerful first impression, it's gone. The longer it sits, the more leverage buyers have. And for you, the seller, it's just emotionally draining. All that urgency disappears. And pretty soon people start to wonder, what's wrong with that place? But here's what's so crucial to remember. If your home isn't selling, it almost never means there's something wrong with the home itself. It means the marketing, the story, has failed to connect. And that is absolutely a solvable problem. So how do we solve it? Well, it all starts with getting inside the mind of the person who's actually going to write that check. We have to understand the psychology of the affluent buyer because they approach this decision from a totally different place. This question really changes everything. For this kind of buyer, a home is so much more than a purchase. It's a statement about who they are and who they want to become. They're literally buying the backdrop for the next chapter of their life. So what are they really looking for? It's not just a checklist of features. They want an emotional connection. They want the confidence that they're making a wise investment. They're looking for a home that fits and even enhances their lifestyle. And they want that feeling of exclusivity, that they've found something truly one of a kind. Okay, so if that's what they want, how do you give it to them? Well, you don't just list your home with better pictures. You have to completely rewrite its story. You turn it from a static object into a living narrative that speaks directly to that ideal buyer's heart. Let me give you a perfect real-world example of this. Picture a beautiful home in Fairhope. It had everything going for it. Great views, wonderful architecture, but it just sat there for almost 6 months. No serious offers. It was like it was invisible. And then everything changed. The new strategy focused on one single beautiful detail: the seller's mother's grand piano and the story of the music and family that filled the home. The story was completely rewritten around that feeling. And the result? It sold in 2 weeks. The buyers even said they felt something they couldn't explain. They felt its soul. And that is what this is all about. The Luxe Home Renewal Blueprint isn't just a marketing plan. It's a system for finding your home's piano, that central emotional story, and using it to breathe new life into its presence on the market. The process itself is a 3-stage journey. It starts with clarity, which is all about seeing your home with fresh eyes and finding its true essence. From there, you build confidence through really intentional storytelling. And finally, you achieve radiance, where the home is celebrated in a way that creates maximum impact. It's about building energy and momentum. Now, when you get that story and that strategy just right, it completely changes the end of the process, especially the part that everybody dreads, the negotiation. Instead of this stressful, high-pressure battle of wills, the negotiation becomes a shared conversation. It stops being about winners and losers and starts being about dignity and finding alignment. It's guided by integrity, not just pressure.
And honestly, here's the secret. A well-positioned home basically negotiates for itself. By the time an offer actually comes in, the story and the marketing have already done all the heavy lifting. The right buyer already sees and understands the value. They don't need to be fought with. They're already on board.
I think this just says it all, doesn't it? Your home's value shouldn't require a defense. When its story is told the right way, all it really needs is to be understood. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. Your home has a unique story, a soul all its own. The real question is anyone actually telling it? Because that is the difference between a home that just sits and a home that truly sells.